Hello, you are watching talk show Focus of the Week. We are speaking about Khadija Ismailova, an Azerbaijani journalist who was working for Radio Liberty, and she was arrested to causing a person consider committing a suicide. If convicted, she will carry up to 7 years at prison. To discuss Khadija's case and the future situation of journalism in Azerbaijan, we have guests today, Dave Bloss and Jody McPhillips, regional editors of Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Projects. Thank you for visiting us. I know that you know personal Khadija. Please tell us when did you first meet her, and what do you know about her work as a journalist?
Okay, I've known her for quite some time. I met her in, I think, 2004 when we worked together on a workshop on how to cover trafficking issues, people being moved across country borders for illegal purposes, prostitution, illegal labor, that kind of thing. And I was immediately impressed with Khadija's intelligence and her hard work. She is really quite a unique person, and she is, I would say, absolutely dedicated to finding the truth in any story she covers. I think that she has served as a role model for many journalists, not just in Azerbaijan, but throughout the Caucasus, throughout Eastern Europe, and throughout the world. People who see her work are always impressed, and I have been deeply impressed by her personal bravery.
Why Khadija's case got so popular? Is she considered as a hero?
She is, and she doesn't want to be. I'll tell you a story very briefly. A few months ago, she had some documents and she was working on a story, and she kind of put herself in the bottom of the house and was doing nothing but looking at the documents. She was a pure journalist, just working on a story. In the middle of her work, there was a very well-known journalist who had worked in Turkey for a long time, and he flew back to Azerbaijan, and he was arrested as he got off the plane. It was like he turned a switch, because she became an activist immediately, not by choice, but so many people, for want of a better word, follow her now. They wait to hear what she says about these things. You know, this is not a job she asked for, okay. But yeah, she is absolutely a hero there, whether she wants to be or not.
Jody, can you say us what was Khadija's most important investigations? Wow. Mostly, what caused some resonance?
There were several that really stand out. Probably the first that got, I would say, worldwide attention was the work she did in cooperation with other investigative reporters in Czechoslovakia. It turned out that members of the first family in Azerbaijan and their friends were investing very heavily in high-end real estate in Prague and surrounding areas. They were buying up all of these beautiful mansions and these nice places, and nobody knew about it in Azerbaijan. It was a complete secret. So they uncovered the documents proving that this group of people who did not seem, there's no reason for them to have this much money, but they do. And they were using the money to buy these fabulous properties in Prague. That was one major story she did. Probably the second most important one was showing the connections between Ilham Aliyev's daughters, the president of Azerbaijan. His two daughters have very extensive ownership of the major telecoms in Azerbaijan, and that had not been known because it was done through proxies and through other people. But she very carefully traced the way they were connected to these major telecom companies, and that, again, got worldwide attention.
We have a Skype call with Emin Milli, the director of Meydan TV based in Berlin. The Meydan TV Azerbaijani bureau has recently closed.
This is a rare case where a group of bloggers came together and started to create independent media platform. We just stopped having office because it's becoming unsustainable, and the government can come and basically destroy your whole infrastructure in the country. Lithuanian is head of presidential administration, second, if not first, most powerful man in the country. He accused us in attempting to overthrow the government. Accusations which sound very absurd to me, because if several 5-6 journalists can overthrow the government, then what sort of government is that? So we are trying, despite of all these difficulties, to continue to survive and to develop and to expand. The real story is what Khadija has done, in terms of being best investigative journalist on global level, by showing the courage that is rare, not just in Azerbaijan, but also in the rest of the world.
Yes, thank you very much. As you know, to protect Khadija, in Tbilisi held a demonstration, and the Georgian journalists and some citizens were participating in this demonstration. What caused Khadija's case so important for journalists, not only in Azerbaijan, but in Georgia as well?
That's the end of the something, right? And so people understood that this is pretty serious. And actually, this is a country, Caucasus, and Azerbaijan is our neighboring country. And whatever happens is in our neighboring country, it's important, and could be also replicated here. The community who actually cares about truth-telling, about journalism, about bringing some changes to communities. Of course, we stand by with these people and try to defend our rights, right? Rights of expression. These are human rights.
Was this first attack against Khadija?
No, this is not the first. This is simply the latest. Beginning in about 2010, when she began to publish her good investigative stories, the government began to increase the pressure against her. The first sort of best known action they took against her was to secretly implant a video camera in her bedroom and record her in some very intimate moments with her boyfriend. They then, she was contacted and told that if she did not behave, this material would be published. And Khadija did something then that I find remarkably brave. She said, I refuse to be blackmailed. I am not going to let you control me by this type of horrible, underhanded technique. So go ahead, do what you feel you must. I'm going to continue my work. And that's exactly what happened. They did publish the video, and she acknowledged that that was her and that it was illegally recorded, and she refused to change her mode of operations. So from that point on, they have been, it seems, they have been trying one thing after another to deter her from publishing the information she researches and proves, and she has refused to stop.
And what risks do you see today for Azerbaijani journalists?
I'm very concerned, not just, as Tiko said, not just for Azerbaijan. This is a trend we are seeing in some countries around the world, including Russia. where authoritarian tendencies are growing stronger and the ruling parties are trying to more tightly control information. And this is desperately important for all of us, because if the people in power can control information, they can mislead the people who they should be serving about what is going on and not tell them things they need to know. China has always had a very controlled press, but even in China you don't see the kind of things we're seeing lately around here. That's why I think not just us, but many people around the world are very concerned at what is happening to Khadija and why we will not let this drop. The organization that Dave and I work for, the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, has launched a website dedicated to this. We have a Facebook page going. If you want to Google Free Khadija, you will find all of these things. And there's places, there's addresses to write to, there's letters you can download and send to ambassadors around the world. And we encourage everybody to step up and do this, because that is how we fight back, legally and fairly. And we're all working for free information here.
Can I express my opinion? I think that what has happened is that Azerbaijan is not about only restriction on one journalist. It's about restriction of the right of population to know as much information as possible about their politicians. If I know that this is pure journalist that has written many investigative articles about wrongdoing of governments, then it means that it's I don't need this kind of government. I want to change it. So I think that the population of the country should know what their rights are, should be well aware of their rights, and not only the journalists must be supporter of the journalists, but I think the whole population of the country, and they should be well aware of what their rights are, and they should be very, very confident about their power, because we know that beyond the history, the power protests have changed and overthrown many governments, and I think that they should be based on this experience, and they should be very, very strong in their rights. And I think the mentality of the population has a great role in terms of overthrowing any kind of bad government. So I think that this mental can change the world.
But just imagine, that's a great speech you just made, and if we allow these authoritarian governments to control communication, no one will ever hear it. Yeah. So it's essential that we stand together on something like this.
Dave, how can, to say in general, these media organizations protect their employees?
They can't. That's a very key point. They can't.
We have another Skype call with OCCRP editor Drew Sullivan from Sarajevo.
Azerbaijani government punishing her for the work that she's done, showing the assets of the first family. She's been the only reporter there who's really gone into detail of exactly what they own. And I really think with the other crackdowns and the other problems that have been going on there, that they finally got around to trying to silence her. And I think it's a clear policy of not brokering any independent journalism or any independent political or civil society actions in the country. In these kind of countries, it's very difficult for these reporters to really do independent media. You can work for an outside organization, you can work for international organizations, but it's going to be a matter of time before Azerbaijan stops any international reporting that goes on in the country and stops Azeris who are working for Azerbaijanis who are working for other media. And so we can slowly expect this to be a completely closed country, similar to Uzbekistan or something like that.
Which media organizations are under the danger in Azerbaijan, for instance?
I wouldn't phrase the question that way, because I think it's really important that we understand that we are all in danger, that what happens to them happens to all of us. Because believe me, I am sure that the people who made these decisions in Azerbaijan were looking at what had happened in Russia over the Crimea coverage and what Russia is doing to spread disinformation in the world. These guys watch each other and they see what is effective, at least in the short term. And to muzzle the press in this way, to control the press, is very effective for a little while.
What do you think? What impact will have this international resonance?
I don't know. I think it's too early to tell.
I would just thank everybody who has stepped up to organize a protest, to write a letter, to make a phone call, to try to let Khadija know she's not forgotten, she's not alone in prison. Thank you so much, because that's the weapon we have, and it is a good one. And sometimes it's hard to believe that it's going to be enough, but it is enough if we stick to it.
Okay.
I guess just remember that, that she's a person. We talk about hero and things like that. We had one conversation, a Skype conversation, I guess, or maybe it was Facebook at 4 in the morning about 2 months ago. It's funny because, you bring it up, everybody keeps talking about this red line. And at that point, people were saying to her, and she was saying, well, maybe you are the red line, saying, I don't want to be the red line, I don't want to be a hero, I don't want any of this. And I said, well, let's hope maybe you're the red line. And she said something along the line that they raped that red line a long time ago. That's what she thinks.
Okay.
Good.
I want to say thank you very much to our guests and to our audience as well. Our talk show reached to its end. We were speaking about Khadija's case. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Now you can relax.